Well, today, Team Encore and all the people watching, we have a very special new segment. It's actually going to be our first fan feature, and today's guest is very special. Justice Bex has been Encore's probably biggest fan, and I would have to say he was probably the first fan. He was 8 years ago one of the first people that reached out and just fell in love with the company and started, promoting us nonstop. I mean, I think it was either the first or second year he had his wife bake cookies over Christmas and send them to me. I've been waiting every Christmas since, so I'm expecting next
Oh
Christmas
man.
we're cookies. But um, I just want to give him a warm introduction. This is going to be a really fun segment because he has become part of the family here, even though we don't live in the same states. Just we've appreciated his support. So we wanted to get a little bit more, better to know him and just find out his personal history, his history with Encore. And so without further ado, Justice, welcome. Feel free, give us a little short introduction. Where did you grow up? Where do you live? What do you do?
Well, hello. I grew up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Um, Lived there for a while. We moved to Arizona probably about 21 years ago to avoid the cold and the gloomy weather of Wisconsin. So been been loving Arizona ever since. So
But you're a Packers fan. I know that because I see you
yes,
talking
sir.
about them. And what I do appreciate is that you are always showing my Bills some love, whether they deserved it over the last 8 years or not. I think this past year, finally, when you're like, "Hey, great game," I'm like, you know what? It was. Finally, it was a great game by the Bills. So Green Bay and
Yeah.
Buffalo, man, they can both relate to the cold. And I always found it funny that you live in Arizona. And I didn't know, that you had grown up there until I had asked years ago. I'm like, that makes sense why he's a Packers fan.
Oh
So I'm
yes.
wondering, do you get up there for games at all ever?
Yeah, we had the chance probably. I think it was 2 years ago, but it was sold out. There wasn't one empty seat at all in the stadium. So
Yep.
we just ended up watching it on TV, and yeah, it was just as good, I guess.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's awesome. So and what do you do? Tell everybody what you do.
I I chemical truck drive to all the dairies throughout Arizona,
Okay.
and there's a salesperson that goes out and he'll see like, well, the dairy needs like so much soap, so much chlorine, um, write down the gallons, and I'll go out like the following week and I'll fill up, you know, probably at least 10 or 12 different dairies of different gallons of product in the chemical truck. So
That's
that's pretty
awesome.
much 12 hours a day.
Yeah, I know you're a hard worker, and we were chatting before we started the interview, and I was asking if you were still able to get work, and obviously you
Yeah,
guys are considered essential, so that's really great
yeah,
news to know that you and your family are, you're able to still continue providing for them and everything like that. So,
yes,
kind of
definitely.
getting into that, I mean, I know a little bit more about your family story and everything, and I think it's a beautiful one. So first, why don't you tell us about where you met your wife, what her name is. I know you guys are this is 21, 22 years because you October
Yeah,
17th, 98, you got married, right?
yes, sir. Yep, that's right. Yeah, I met her in Wisconsin, and we got our first apartment, and then we got our first house, and just fell in love with owning a house. And then finally, a job opportunity came up in with Arizona. So a year later, we moved to Arizona and just fell in love with Arizona ever since.
That's
And,
awesome.
we've been going through like the foster care system right now. We're both foster parents, and we both do like online classes, the CPR classes we have to go to, and basically just doing everything to our house to get an inspection for the foster care people to come in and inspect it. And we have meetings, and right now we're going on about 6 months right now with our first foster son. So, and we're gonna adopt him pretty soon. So just waiting for this whole court thing to resolve and this virus thing to resolve. I mean,
Yep. That's amazing. You know, you have is it 4 kids, 3 kids?
yeah, we have 4 kids now. 2 of them are biological. One is biologically ours, and
Yep.
two we adopted from Taipei, Taiwan,
Uh-huh.
and one boy, one girl, and those are both yeah, adopted, and our foster son will be adopted as soon as we get the court orders and stuff like that in place. And
Where's the foster son from?
he's from Arizona.
Okay, cool. Well,
Yeah,
that's you guys are a regular Modern Family.
yeah,
I don't know if you ever watch that show, but I mean, I love stories like this. You know, I think it's
yeah.
so important, um, you know, to embrace the diversity, and you know, you guys are obviously
Mhm.
just big hearts, and that's
Yeah.
all you care about. So I think it's
Mhm.
really amazing. You guys have a really beautiful story and beautiful family. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. I wanted to get a little bit into that because I always had a lot of respect for you guys, and
Yeah.
thought it was just a really neat part about you. So,
Mhm.
all right, we're gonna kind of get some advice from you. You do have a big family. Well, for one, I'm hoping that the quarantine has strengthened your marriage and not dissolved it.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
but
very much. Yep.
Good, good. But what kind of things are you and your family doing to, you know, stay sane, to stay entertained? Do you have any fun recommend any games that you recommend, anything at all? I know there are a lot of
Um.
people out there that are probably like, oh, what do I do now?
Yeah, we've been doing like Monopoly, Candyland,
Yep,
putting puzzles together, trying
that's
to
great.
limit their electronic usage, but
Yeah,
it's difficult sometimes. But they've been listening.
that's great. I mean, it's got to be a
Yeah.
phenomenal way, and you know, the silver lining in all this is how we have rediscovered how to connect, and it's kind of fascinating when you think about it that we are forced to be apart from so many people, yet we're probably more connected with everybody than ever before. You know,
Yeah.
whether it's FaceTiming with people that you haven't talked to in years or FaceTiming with friends that you just don't see as much anymore because, you know,
Yeah, that's what
things
we've been
get in the
doing. Yeah.
way. And it's like, well, if I don't have time to go out and meet them in person, then, you know, before the pandemic, then are you really going to set up a FaceTime, you know, meeting with them and, you know, FaceTime happy hour, all those things. So it has
Hmm.
been really interesting to see. I mean, I think I'd used FaceTime maybe twice in my life prior
Yeah.
whole situation, and now it's just a way of life. It's like, all right, well, you know, got a couple friends that are going to be performing at 5, so it's a little 5 o'clock, you know, musical happy hour that we'll watch, and
Yep.
it's just incredible. So,
Yeah.
just
All
really
our meetings now are all online.
oh yeah, yep,
All the foster meetings that we have now, they're all online.
yep. Well, for Encore, I mean, we have all our meetings on Zoom, and you know, so there's like 8 of us, and it looks like the Brady Bunch opening every morning when we have our morning meetings. You know, right before this interview
Yeah.
was our 10 a.m. and you're like, I'm not there with them, but this is what it would be like if we were in the
Mhm.
office. You know, I had to go into the office the other day, and I was just like, oh, I've never wanted to go back to the office so badly, just for a change of scenery. But all right, so now we're going to dive into kind of your love of golf and of Encore in general. So first question I had was, how long have you been golfing, and what was, you know, what got you into it to start?
Well, I would say it was probably when I entered high school. I would take my dad's clubs, and I would tee up a golf ball into the neighbor's field and almost hit his house. I would say within like maybe 50 yards. And it was
Yeah,
total of like 350 yards to his house, and I was almost hitting his house, and that like kind of like what got me like addicted. And I joined the high school team, and I was hooked ever since. You know, making varsity letters and awards and most birdies in 1 year, and that's what got me hooked in high school, and ever since I've been
awesome.
hooked.
That's great. So who was the guy that you watched growing up? Like, who was your player when you were growing up that you really, that was the one you wanted to watch every time a tournament was on?
Oh, back then, probably Arnold Palmer, because he almost has the same swing as my dad. So
Wow.
he's got a kind of like that short, like swing and kind of fall through. And
Yep. Really
should make
cool.
a video to link to both.
That's pretty cool. What would you say your favorite memory on the golf course has been? Was it, a time that you played with your dad? Was it a hole in one that you got? Have you played with your kids? Like, what's right now to this date, what's your favorite memory on a golf course?
Favorite memory is probably taking my son. He was probably 3, and my dad came down. He flew down here from Wisconsin, and we played golf, and that was very memorable time. I remember because my son at 3, and he was all excited, and he got snacks, and we got stuff off the golf cart, and he was all into it. So
Yeah. Well, and that was probably just extremely exciting for you to, you're
yeah,
hoping that he's going to enjoy it,
yep,
because I'm sure you're envisioning, man, this could be a lifelong connection that we can share, something that we can enjoy
yep,
together. That's what's great about golf. I mean, you can pretty much do it your whole life, barring some injury or whatever. But that must have been
mhm,
a really cool moment for you. I can understand why, seeing that he was going to share some sort of passion in this, along with yourself, would be really fun
yep.
to know. All right, so you have always posted a bunch of videos, and I think some are yours and some are others, about a rubber snake that it's a rubber snake
Yep,
prank. I think it's called Hiss a Lot.
it's
And
a lot. Yep.
so, for one, I don't know the backstory of that. Is that something that was already created, or did you start these videos, or did you just get one once you saw them and you were like, I got to pull this prank on some friends? Because if people haven't seen it, they are hysterical. I mean, especially in Arizona, coming across a rattlesnake on a course
Oh, it's like all the
is
time. Yeah.
probably happens all the time.
Yep.
And people, and Justice included, because he's sick in the head, will set up the snake around the cart, and when one of the players comes and they see it, and they just jump out of their shorts, because
Oh,
they're
yes, they
thinking
do.
it's all coiled up, ready to strike, and it's like, oh man. So, can you give us the history of that, and what do you think is the best one you pulled off? Like, what was the best, or I guess slash worst reaction you had to it?
Well, it all started probably, ooh, I would say at least 10 years ago, if not little bit more. But one guy, he sent me a rubber snake in the mail, and he was the one that started his lot. And I just started pranking people as much as I could, and get the camera all secretly recording. And I had one that he got so mad he almost broke his driver over the snake, and
Oh,
people
mad at
swear a
you?
lot. And what's that?
He was mad at you, or
Yeah, he was
mad at
mad
the
at me.
snake?
Yeah.
Okay, got
You
Oh,
know? And I don't want to get too many. I got one cart lady. She came up, and she was kind of older, and she almost started grabbing her chest like she was gonna have a heart attack. I'm like,
oh,
oh
that would not have been good. Yeah, that would have been a
no,
prank gone wrong. Oh man.
yeah, that would have been
Yep.
bad.
Well, I enjoy
Yep,
it, so keep them coming. Just make sure that the person you're pranking has no irregular heartbeats going on.
exactly. Yep. Their
Um,
physical fit condition.
right, exactly. All right, so we're going to get into your history with Encore. So for maybe newer members of Team Encore that don't know what our first ball was, it was a ball with a hollow metal core. So that
The
was
Evo golf ball.
even before that, actually, the Omen.
The Omen. Yep.
But that was for a very short time, and then we named it the Evo after making some changes. So, do you remember
Yep.
how you even came across it? Was it on Facebook? Like, what did you think when you first saw a ball that had a hollow metal core? And because I remember, I mean, you reaching out and being like, "This is crazy. What's going
Oh
on?
yeah.
I got to try these."
Yep.
So tell us that story.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Just saw you on Facebook, and there's a hollow metal core. It's got a hollow center, and a steel ball in the middle of a golf ball,
Yep.
and people just didn't believe me, and it was guaranteed to go straight, and fell in love ever since. And
Well, what I love is, that ball was not made for good golfers. And you are a good golfer. It's not
yep,
made for high swing speeds, and you got a high swing speed.
yep,
At that time, that was the only ball we had. It was such a unique and differentiated product. It was the only way we felt we'd be able to actually make some noise in the golf ball industry, because
just
that is
yeah,
literally
yep,
one of the hardest industries to penetrate, because it's
mhm.
dominated by, 5, 6 multi-billion-dollar companies, and they don't
Oh yeah,
allow new technology in very
hmm,
often. Um, and so it was great that you liked it. But I remember, because you've always been so enthusiastic for your love of Encore, of everything Encore. And I just remember all the people, all your buddies that would, troll you on the page and be like, "What is this? This is bull.
yeah,
This is illegal." And you're like, well, for 2 years while we were fighting, it was conforming, but not on the conforming list. It met all the
yes,
metrics.
yep,
But then when it became conforming, I remember you being like, "Look on the conforming list. That thing is allowed, permissible, and this and that." But then
exactly.
obviously we smartened up and said, "All right, we got to make a full suite of golf balls." And we kept the innovation, but made some new ones. I know you've been playing the Elixir for a long
Elixir.
time, and I'm sure you still have people that are new that you just meet, and they say, "Hey, what's that ball?" A lot of people don't understand that just because, a company isn't one of the big brand names, doesn't mean that they can't make a quality golf ball. So how do you usually explain or describe the Elixir to somebody? And, what kind of reaction do you usually get? Do you get them to try it? Do they have the same reaction as you? And I'm just kind of curious what your pitch to them is. Like, how do you say, "Trust me, just give it a go"?
Yeah, that's what happened last time I went golfing. I gave somebody I know a dozen golf balls. He got to second tee, and I think the ball on a par three, he almost hit the pin.
Mm,
That was like 5 shots in, or no, he made a birdie on the first hole. Then the second hole was a par three. He almost made a hole in one with the Elixir golf ball. So I just told him, just trust me on this golf ball, and 85 compression, and it's the best
yep.
golf ball you'll ever use. And then he's a believer after the second hole. So
That's awesome. And you can tell them we just announced today, because we found out, just like we ended the last decade with the Elixir taking gold on the Golf Digest hot list, we started this decade a repeat. So it is
I just
gold
saw that.
again
Yeah.
on the hot list, which is awesome. And we have a new ball that we're coming out with, but I'll tell you about that toward the end here. What
Okay.
is your best story, whether it's lowest score, a hole in one? Like, what's your favorite, I guess, golf accomplishment with an Encore ball for you?
Whew, there's so many of them.
The
Where do
good.
I
I like
start?
that. I swear I didn't pay you to say that.
Oh man. Um, it had to been, there was a long drive hole, and I think I hit it almost 360 yards, and no one even came close. And I think I won $100 cash in a foursome for the following day whenever I wanted to play again. So I was the only person that came close to that yardage. So
That's
that was
awesome.
that would make me really pumped. So
Pretty cool. All right. Well, we are going to do a game called This or That. So I'm just going to rattle off a
okay.
few things. You're going to, off the top of your head, pick. All right. So matte green, yellow, or white Elixir.
I love the matte green. It
Yeah.
has that distinctive color.
Mm-hmm. Sunrise or sunset golf.
Ooh. Well, I would say sunrise because we're getting into the triple digit heats here now. So
So now it's strategic.
now's the chance to get out for $20 in the
Yep.
summertime. So no
Awesome.
one
Yeah,
else wants to play.
that heat is, I can't even imagine. Good for you. U.S. Open or Ryder Cup?
um, I would say U.S. Open.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is. I'll be interested. First Tiger Woods Masters win or his latest Masters win? Which was more special, do you think?
Oh,
Tough,
I
right?
would say the latest one because he had his kids with him,
Mm,
and the last one because he had his dad with him. So it's like a toss up.
yeah. Awesome. Bryan Brothers or Tanya Taylor?
I would say 10. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. And she's an
Yeah. Good,
encore.
good
Um,
trick shot artist. Yep.
yep. Hole in one or albatross? Which would you rather?
Ooh. Well, since I had an albatross, it was 530 yards, par
Oh,
five. I hit it. I hit a good drive, and the second shot with my 3-wood, and we couldn't find my ball anywhere. One guy goes, "Hey, look in the cup." I looked in the cup, and there it was.
unbelievable.
So I would love to get a hole in one next.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
All right. Last one. Play with your dad or to play with your kids?
I would say play with my dad because he's like 80. I want to say 85 right now, and I don't know how much time we got left, but he's going pretty strong. He's pretty fit for being in his age, and he golfs almost, I would say, 4 times a week. So
Awesome.
I got all the time to play with my kids, I guess.
Yeah, great answers. All right, well, that's going to wrap this up. I do want to mention, well, first off, thank you from all of us
Yeah.
here for 8+ years of super fandom, for all your support. We're going to send you a little goodie bag of stuff, but along with the elixir that we're going to send you, I'm going to send you, you'll be the first non-professional, the first fan that is going to do review and test the Vero X1, which we will be doing a
Ooh,
pre-launch in the next few weeks, and we'll be selling and officially launching on the website probably toward the end of May. But we're going
okay.
to send some of those out to you, so you'll be the first one
And
to
that
try them and test them out. And they are, you think the elixir is good? Wait till you play this thing. It is
and that's the new
unbelievable.
4-piece ball then, or what?
Yep.
All
Yep.
right.
So it's got a lot of the same innovation as far as high density particles in the perimeter to create
Okay.
some of that play in the wind performance, that
Mm-hmm.
perimeter weighting. There is a fourth layer. The elixir is a 3-piece. It's gonna be a little stiffer because it's really meant for an even more elite player. Uh,
Okay.
it's getting better spin rates, and so far at almost every swing speed, it's been going 7 to 10 yards further than
All
almost
right.
any ball out there. So we're excited. I hope you're excited.
Very
Thank you so
excited.
much for spending some time to catch up and to chat. It's definitely,
Yeah.
I can't wait till I can be out in Arizona and we can actually meet in person because I think you
Well,
met
I almost
Steve,
met you
right?
that one time
No, yeah, almost me.
at
You
the
met
race
Steve,
management.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do it, but this has been great and all my best and love to you and your family. And we will
Thank you. You
chat
too.
soon.